How's it everybody? Beautiful day today. Got a break in the weather. It's the middle of February and it is 60 degrees and there isn't a cloud in the sky. So I figured, you know what, I've yet to do a highway test on my 2017 CRF 250 Rally. So I'm gonna jump on my 400 North. It's kind of close to where I live. It's, you know, we're mid-afternoon, and see how this does. All right now in 6th gear, 6,000 RPM, reading 57 miles per hour on the tach as I am approaching to merge, slowly increasing. 6,500 RPM on the tach, 62 miles an hour, kind of stable. The motor doesn't feel like it's working hard at all. Let me kind of get used to this, see what kind of buffeting we're dealing with. I'm still kind of cruising at 60 miles an hour. Speed limit on this road is 65, so I'm a little bit below speed limit. Let me push it up. Let me get to 65. Full disclosure as well on tires, I'm wearing a Dunlop DO6 on the rear, so it's a little bit of an aggressive tire. PSI, I'm just over 20 PSI on the front and rear, so kind of in that mid-range. So far I'm feeling decent at 60 miles per hour. I feel good at 70 miles per hour on my DR650, so let me get a little bit more used to it. This is the first time I'm actually taking this bike out onto the freeway for this test. So far stability feels good. So, you know, it's definitely a much lighter bike. I can feel there's a little bit more movement, but as you can tell by the surrounding traffic that I'm in, I'm keeping up with it. For anyone who hasn't watched my previous videos on the reason why I got this bike, is last year I bought a DR650, been working on it, getting into adventure riding, did a bunch of exploring, and now this year I've picked up this used Rally so I could take friends with on rides. Big reason I got the bike was I knew it was something that even my experienced friends who just don't happen to have a bike at this moment could have fun with it. And then I'm also really looking forward to friends of mine who've never done this before, and I knew this bike would kind of tick that box as well. It wouldn't be intimidating to them, but it'd be more than capable of doing the type of terrain I've been riding in. So right now I'm keeping it at 65. I'm happy with 65. That seems fine. I'm gonna actually take the off ramp coming up, turn around and push it to 70. It feels a little bit windy, but I'm looking around, there isn't too much of a wind that I can notice on trees and that. So but anyway, so far 60-65 highway cruising, moderately moving with traffic, no problem at all for the bike. Alright, let's take this off ramp and head back down. Get an idea. Now what I do know about the motor on this particular bike is it actually comes off of their street version 250, I believe, either their CBR or CB, so it's kind of more based around a street bike motor, which is great because the maintenance on it is really, the maintenance intervals on it are pretty long. I've never heard something so crazy. They actually only recommend the oil change at 8,000 miles, something I don't think I'd ever do, but just to kind of give you an idea of the low maintenance towards this. It's definitely no high performance off-road engine, totally based off of the street engine. The little bit of riding that I have done it, I've noticed like you got a good little bit of torque really low, then in between about 3,000 to 6,000 there's a little bit of a dead spot, and then from 7,000 RPM onwards it actually revs pretty good, much like a street bike would rev up, much like a four-cylinder street bike that you'd rev up. So it's kind of an interesting combination of how they've produced this bike. The new versions, the 2022, they've come out now with the 300, so they bumped the displacement just a little bit, which from what I read just gives it a little bit more torque low end and a little bit better on the highway cruising side of things. But like I said, the majority of time spent on this bike is going to be up in the mountains, up in North Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, a lot of easygoing trails, 5 service roads, that kind of thing. So more than enough to get up there, cruise, do some camping, that kind of thing. Alright, I'm gonna head back south and push it to 70, 75 and see where my comfort level sits at that speed range with this bike. Alright, what I'll do is I'll walk through initial gearing. So this is first gear, 7,000 wants to be changed. Second gear, up to 7,000 already, starting to shout a little bit. Third gear, let's get through this. 35 miles per hour, 6,000 RPM in third gear. You can see it revs pretty good. Okay, fourth, what I'll do is now I'll actually rev it out. Take it up to red line as we merge here. Fourth gear, you can see it's got a nice high revving motor. Fifth, 65, 67, and sixth gear. Alright, now 70 miles per hour, 7,000 RPM. You can hear the motors kind of up there with it at 70 miles per hour. What I'll do is definitely very light, so I can feel a little bit of movement. Back down to 66. Let me go up to about 75 and see how I feel, and then. But what I can determine already is that around 60, 65 is the happy medium that I find for this bike. Alright, let's see if I can push this a bit up. I've got this guy in front of me with his tail lights on. Not sure why he's braking. As soon as I get a bit of clear road ahead. Alright, starting at 65, let's go. Alright, 8,000 RPM, 75 miles per hour. Holding at 75, you know what? I'm actually kind of impressed. Not bad at all. I'm actually, bike feels pretty stable. Let me merge over. 70 miles per hour, let me pick it back up again. A little bit of shake. 73. 70, let's go. So right at 8,000 RPM, 6th gear, I'm getting 75 miles per hour. Now, I will say this, if there was a little bit more street orientated tires, a little bit more, maybe like a 70-30, 70% street, 30% off-road tire, feel a lot better. But with the tires on there now, they're Dunlop D606, 75 in those knobblies, it's a little bit shaky. But okay, now you can see I've backed it down. I'm sitting at 66. I feel good. I'm not holding up traffic. Go over to this lane, 65. And that actually feels good. I'm relaxed. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel like the bike is stressed. So there it is. For my quick highway test on this 2017 CRF 250 Rally, 65 highway cruising pretty comfortable, no issue. So it'll match up pretty well with my DR650. Whichever one of my buddies who's going to borrow this, he won't feel left behind at all. While I take his off-ramp, we'll do a little bit of a in-town. In-town, it feels great. Little zippity motor, comfortable, feels good. And like I said, the main reason for this bike is to be up there in the mountains, up on the trails, that kind of thing, which is going to be more than capable of. So red lights, not bad. So this was a quick first time me ever trying this bike out on the freeway. You guys came with me. Not bad at all. Pretty comfortable. Give you guys a little ride through my neighborhood. Should I zip over? The motor's actually kind of fun, especially here, little city, suburban areas. As you can see, I'm not even sure what gear I'm in, but 6,000, and then likes to rev up real quick. It's got a little bit of a nice little bit of zip to it, so not bad at all. Anybody out there worried that 250 motor is too small for me? You know, obviously everybody's needs are different, but you just need something that can get you outdoors, do some adventure riding, inexpensive, low maintenance. So far, all the reviews I've read are spot on and ticking all the boxes on my intentions for this bike. Alright, so that wraps up that test. The next thing I'll do is I'll actually do a test to get this bike up north. It takes roughly about an hour for me to get up to Dahlonega. That's kind of my entrance point into the mountains up in North Georgia. So it's pretty much a straight shot up the same road that I just did this highway test on. So it's about an hour up on that road. And then from there you start entering into the mountains. So that'll be the next test I do for you guys, just to kind of test this thing out before I let it loose on my buddies, get it up there, make sure everything checks out, and then it'll be 100% ready to go for the 2022 riding season. Woolly the Bully Adventures with friends. Looking forward to it. Alright everybody, appreciate you watching, and on to the next adventure. See you soon. Cheers.